Do you remember back in March when I planted all those potatoes? In this video, we're going to look at the results of that planting and see some very interesting outcomes. And be sure to stick around to the end because the best is the last buckets I harvested. Here we go.
There be potatoes in these waters.
So here we are in the middle of July. These potatoes, they grew for 3 months, folks. These are Yukon Gold potatoes. They're a 70 to 90 day crop, and I let them go a full 90 days before I moved them into the drier area where they could start drying out for a couple weeks. So they had 3 months and 2 weeks to go through to this point right here. And we did an experiment here. We did potatoes that I bought at Lowe's, just off the shelf, and we did potatoes that I had from last year's harvest, almost exactly half and half, because we had 8 of each type of potato that we put into soil. And you can see all the pots around behind me here. This is the results. But I wanted to take you through the results of this experiment and talk about a few of the things that we did and we discovered, and some facts about these potatoes. These are, again, Yukon Gold. They're a second early potato, and we're going to talk about what early and late potatoes means. But I've been really excited about getting through this experiment because the results were incredible. Many-fold times more on some of the methods that we chose to plant with, and I was just blown away. So stick around to the end because they get better and better as we get through these stages of containers. So a little over 3 months ago, 3 months and about 2 weeks, we planted a whole bunch of potatoes in pots. These potatoes right here, we planted 2 different batches of potatoes. Half the potatoes we planted were green sprouted potatoes from last year's harvest back in June of 2024. This is now 2025. And half the potatoes were potatoes we just picked up at the local Lowe's and in the garden center, and we just wanted to see what the difference would be. Another thing that I did, another experiment, I've been growing these potatoes in grow bags all along, and I've always liked the grow bags, and I know some people grow them in hard pots, and I wanted to find out which was going to work best for me. And that's a key thing, people, working best for me. You have to find out. You don't have to. I like finding out what works best for me because I know in my conditions here in Destin, Florida, it's humid, it's kind of hot, it's going to be completely different than my friend Chad over at Down Home Backyard Gardening in Houston, Texas, and it's going to be different from my other friend Scott up in Colorado or Enoch up in Oregon. It changes from place to place. And so I wanted to find out what was going to work best for me. Now, these grow bags, I've always felt that they don't get dry for me. Some people they do. We are so humid here that they just don't seem to dry out the way I hear other people talking about. And so that was always something that I wondered about. And this was a good time to figure out if it was true. So I have a scale, and we are going to go through these pots one by one and figure out how much potato yield we got out of each of these pots. Every one of these pots has 2 potatoes planted in them. They're planted in roughly the same orientation in the bottom. The grow bags are roughly the same size as the hard pots that we're going to go through, and I tried to keep the experiment as straightforward as I could. Now, 2 weeks ago, you can see here, I pulled these potatoes in from a whole series of rainy days and put them under cover so that they could start drying out. That was about 2 weeks ago. That day, on June 29th, was 2 days over 3 months. These Yukon Gold potatoes are 70 to 90 days to being ripe. And so that means you plant them, you let them grow, you pull the little flowers off, they start dying back, and about 70 to 90 days, that plants will have died mostly back and they will be ready to go. These, at 3 months and 2 days, had pretty much all died back. I would have done it a week or 2 earlier had we not gone on a trip out of the country, and I just couldn't get to it before we left. So I pulled them in after we got back. They've been sitting over there. In fact, you can see off in the distance maybe, there's pots over there by that table. We're going to bring them over here one by one, and we're going to go through, weigh each one, and figure out what we got. Does that sound like a plan? Now each pot has a little tag in it that tells us, this one here tells me it's from Lowe's. It's 190 grams of potatoes that I planted, and it is a Yukon Gold planted 3 29. Oh, it was exactly 3 months till the time I put them over there. Okay. I was wrong on that. So there we go, 190 grams. We're going to see what we get out of this. Ooh, big potato. There's a seed potato. It's all mushy. Now I will say, the potatoes that I had green sprouted actually came up first. I mean, way first. They were ahead of the game by a mile. The ones that I got from Lowe's and just stuck in the ground, those were late to come up, but they grew bigger and they grew heavier stalks. Did I just get 2 big potatoes out of this whole pot? That doesn't seem very good. And 1 baby potato. Weighing these up in grams, we got 2 potatoes out of 2 potatoes. 190 grams of potato gave us 282 grams of potato. 50% increase after 90 days of waiting. I'm not impressed. Are you? So I left these potatoes under the cover over there so they'd have a couple weeks to dry out, and they've had right at 2 weeks to dry out. Okay, 261 grams of Yukon Gold potatoes from Lowe's in a hard pot. $261 grams gave us 230 grams of potatoes from the Lowe's potatoes. Doesn't make me happy. In fact, it makes me very unhappy. Now, all these plants did have a significant amount of other things growing in them by the time I moved them. That's a beautiful potato. Look at there. Oh, that one has a little green on it. This is the fabric bag in which we put 210 grams of potatoes, 2 potatoes that weigh 210 grams. Again, this is Lowe's, but now we're dealing with the fabric bags. Oh, did you hear that? I think I heard more than 2. See what we get. Ooh, look at there. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Now, that's a magnolia leaf. You might have seen a few of those falling through earlier, and it looks like a potato and it's falling. It's actually a leaf. I would imagine on the camera it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Oh, here goes one. Woo. Now again, I'm happy to qualify this. This is grown here in Florida. So far, so good. The grow bag really seems to have done better for me. Significantly better for me. And another. Wow. Oh, I'm excited. So 210 grams of Lowe's potato planted in a grow bag has yielded me 818 grams of potatoes. That's promising. I'm already encouraged. Let's go get the other grow bag, see if it holds roughly the same statistics. So folks, that means that the 1 grow bag of Lowe's potatoes gave us more potatoes than the 2 pots of Lowe's potatoes. Wow, I didn't expect that big a difference. Okay, this next one is the final of the Lowe's potatoes. Lowe's is our big box store. 2 potatoes weighing 206 grams were planted from Lowe's on March 29th. Today is July 11th. So yeah, roughly 3 months and 2 weeks. 2 weeks was the drying out period. Woo! Oh! Oh, big one. My goodness. I cannot believe this. This is a little exciting, folks. So the difference between grow bags and hard pots here in Florida, I think, is obvious. There were uniform results on all pots for the potatoes from Lowe's. Now, if the results are uniform for the green sprouted potatoes, I think I will have been justified in my theory. Now, Tony O'Neill over on Simplified Gardening, he grows his in pots because that's what works best for him. 2 potatoes weighing 210 grams together yield us 362 grams of potatoes. Not as good as the other grow bag, but it's still better than any of the pots so far. That's going to be interesting to see. So I'm going to set aside the Lowe's tags. Since we've weighed them, I've got it on video, what they weighed. Yes, I do. I had to check and make sure that it was still recording. We're looking at the green sprouted potatoes. Now, what green sprouted means, I didn't store these in the dark. I didn't put them in a box. I didn't wrap them in paper. I just put them in an egg carton and put them in the shelf in the dining room. That means indirect sunlight was all around it during the day, and there was a light that was on part of the time, and it was just sitting out in the open, folks. This is 100 grams of Yukon Gold potatoes planted the exact same day. These were harvested in 2024 from some Irish Eyes potatoes I planted in March of last year. 100 grams, half the volume of potatoes. Let's see what that did in the hard pot. 2 small potatoes. Wow, there's a big one and a small one. Look at that. Oh, there went a potato. Half the weight in potatoes made 566 grams of potato from green sprouted potatoes in a hard-sided pot. Okay, that is cool. That is way cool. Oh, I missed one. Add another 80 grams to that. So I'm telling the camera this because this is my record. So now, just to clarify, Yukon Gold potatoes are a second early potato. Now, we in America don't really understand the early and the late potato. It has a lot to do with how long they take to develop. What we need to understand, though, is the early potatoes, all the early potatoes, are a determinate potato. That means when you put the seed potato in the ground, it will grow pretty much at a single level. You can mound soil as much as you want to on an early potato. It's not going to increase the yield anymore. In fact, what it's going to do is it's going to cut off the light getting to the leaves that you're covering up. So you're actually hurting the plant. I have never grown a late potato. Late potatoes are the ones you mound up and mound up. You've seen those tall potato bags that are like 3 feet tall? You plant them in the bottom with a little bit of dirt, and then you pile more, then you pile. That is a late potato, an indeterminate potato. Yes, indeterminate and determinate. Just like tomatoes, folks. Yeah. Okay, so I already see 2 coming out here. Now these 2, one of these has a little bit of green on it, but that's okay. We already had another one, so it's gonna work out. This pot, hard pot, green sprouted potatoes, 112 grams of potatoes, planted March 29th. Again, from the original Irish Eyes order we placed over a year ago.
Oh, jackpot.
Another 7 of them. Hot dog. Oh, more. Okay, folks, I'm getting excited. This is very cool. Green sprouted potatoes in a hard pot so far has given me more than almost all the pots of Lowe's potatoes. That is exciting. Now, for all you haters out there that hate me seeing me break up this nice mycorrhizal stuff, let me know in the comments. I love hearing from y'all too. And I say haters, I know you're doing things your way, and that is great. Do your way. Find out what works best for you. If it's not this way, tell me what you do. I want to hear. 2 pots of green sprouted potatoes. Wow. 112 grams. And I'm using grams because it's easier to work out the numbers. 112 grams of green sprouted potatoes from last year's harvest that literally sat on the shelf for 9 months, folks. Just sat there. 112 grams. Let's see what that gave us. 612 grams. So with the numbers coming out the way they have so far, I am hoping we have saved the best for last. Tell me in the comments if you think the best is coming now. These are grow bags with the green sprouted potatoes. I mean, just on the results from the hard pots, already I'm thinking, I'm never going to not green sprout potatoes again. This is 110 grams of potatoes, 2 potatoes weighing 110 grams total from last year's harvest, sitting on a shelf for 9 months, not in the dark, just out on the open, in the dining room, lights, indirect sun. for 9 months. This may be the best harvest of potatoes I've ever, look at that, I've ever had. This just may be my best harvest ever. Oh, there's so many in here. All right, I gotta dump it. Good grief, they're everywhere. Everywhere, everywhere, I tell you. Woo, another big one. Oh, that's already started to sprout. Another big one. Hot dog. Woo, little one. You like those too? Woo! I'm very excited, folks. Woo! I keep going to check to make sure this is recording. Now see, I could hate on Tony O'Neill for using his solid pots, but you know what? I'm not growing in his place. Tony's a friend of mine. He's a great guy. He's doing a fantastic job. If you're not growing in Florida, you're growing somewhere else, look at what he's doing. I tried to replicate that with these hard pots down here. It didn't work for me. Grow bags. Look at those potatoes from that grow bag. Ah, doggone it. They're escaping. Ah. Okay, 2 potatoes weighing a total of 110 grams, planted March 29th of 2025, harvested today, July 11th, 2025. They sat drying for 2 weeks, which is really good for them, especially after all the rain we had. Taking all the roots off. Okay, folks, I'm not believing what I'm seeing. Must have done something wrong here. Said it was like 1,400 grams. 1,460 grams, people, from 110 grams of green sprouted potatoes in the window for 9 months, planted March 29th of 2025, in the ground for 3 months, dried for 2 weeks. That is a 14-fold improvement. 14 times what I planted, folks. If this does the same thing, I'm only planting green sprouted potatoes. I'm only planting them in grow bags forevermore. Yukon Gold, 2 potatoes weighing 116 grams, planted on March 29th, 2025. They were originally bought from Irish Eyes at the beginning of last year. They were planted in March. They were harvested in June or July. Those seeds were then set, those 2 potatoes were then set on a shelf, and I'm repeating this over and over because I am in shock. They were set on a shelf to green sprout, not in the dark, just right out in the open in the dining room for 9 months, people. We had company during that. We had our church group over every month for 9 months. 116 grams. Let's see what we get out of this one. Two potatoes weighing 116 grams yielded 1,056 grams of potatoes. That's it, folks. Conclusive and uniform results across the board. They get better and better each pot we got, isn't it? Wow. So wasn't that incredible? We got all the way through that harvest. We started off with the worst buckets, giving us about the same as what we put in the ground, which really isn't worth much. All the way to the end, 14 times more than what we planted. 14-fold improvement. That blew me away. I've never grown potatoes with that much improvement. And I've grown them in the grow bags before, but the key thing was, if you watch the original experiment, which, by the way, here at the end screen in just a few minutes, you're going to see a link down in the lower right-hand corner to that video, that experiment video. If you haven't seen, go back and look at it and see what we did to get these potatoes to grow the way we did. Conclusion on this, folks, I'm done. I'm done trying to figure out how to plant potatoes. I got it. We're doing the grow bags. We're doing the green sprouting. We're doing in the same location. I have to be sure to remember to bring it under cover somewhere after 3 months, at the 3 month point. And we'll get there. We'll get there. My ADD brain doesn't always get it there accurately, but we will get there on occasion. This does make me want to plant another crop this fall. So here in about a month or two, I'm going to be planting some more. I want to be able to harvest in October. So September, August, we're talking about a 70 to 90 day crop. If we go on the 70-day calculation, then that would put us somewhere in the middle of August. We would plant these. So sometime the middle of August, hopefully we can get another planting and do everything the way I want to with the grow bags and see what comes out in the end of October. So somewhere after Halloween, because I want to have 2 weeks of these things sitting dry, we'll harvest and see if we have accomplished our goal. We've done the experiment. I'm very positive about my results. I'm very excited about my results. And then we're going to be doing it that way and see if we get solid results from the real crop that we're going to do the right way. Here we go, folks. Yeah, I'm excited. I got to pick some of these out to green sprout, and we will be on the way. If you've had trouble planting potatoes, tell me down in the comments below. I'd like to hear and some of the things that you've solved. I know my method here is a bit different from, say, Tony O'Neill's method, which he blows away the potato competition. I know that his environment is more conducive to potatoes. We're kind of struggling along because our environment is not as conducive as Tony's is. So we do the best we can. I am going to improve some things. I don't know if I'll be doing it for this fall's crop, maybe in the spring, but I love the way he supports his potatoes through the mesh that allows them to grow up. Mine fell down a lot, and I think that may have hurt the production of them. There is a huge lizard walking across the top of my shade cloth. He's enormous. Wow, okay. He's almost a foot long. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe and be sure to watch some more of our videos. We have links to, like I said, the experiment video down in the lower right-hand corner that's going to appear in a moment. You will notice that throughout the video, there was a symbol that appeared on the right side, said there's a link in the description below. I do love making those indexes below, and in those indexes, I put links to related videos. And we have a lot of related videos. We have over 700 videos. We have tons and tons of playlists on various different topics that you can go through, and I try to get as complete as I can in there, so where you can just go, want to learn about something, you can go look at a playlist about growing that something. Be sure to comment below, like I said before. I love hearing y'all's stories. I love hearing how y'all are doing yours, and let me know, because I learn from you guys, folks. I do. I really do. Y'all have taught me so much. I'm still considering myself a beginning gardener, even though this is year 6 of successful gardening. Yes, I've gardened before, but never successfully. I learn so much from you people that share and teach me and give me ideas for other projects and all this stuff. It's great hearing from you, so be sure to comment below. You help out the video by watching some of our older content too. There's a lot of old stuff in there. I try to make as much evergreen content as possible. That means videos that are going to apply this year, next year, following year. Every year these things will apply. I remake them too, because you know what? Sometimes I get better at it. And I share facts in one video that I didn't share previously, and I try to get more and more complete information. Thank you for joining us in the Bowtie Gardens. We really enjoy having you here, sitting alongside of us, learning just like we are. Have a blessed day.